Now, there have been instances where I have accused my parent of having a favorite child, especially second borns. Me, I feel like second borns are really the favorite children of our parents. And sometimes to a degree, last born children. Because right now, when I look at my brother and the way he behaves right now, and I'm like, if I did that when I was your age, my parent would have smacked me into another universe, because ain't no way you're getting away with all of this. The way he talks with my parents, the way he does all of this. So, you know, children favoritism can be a thing. But somebody actually told me that sometimes parents are caught up with raising the children right, you know, especially when it's the first child. Firstborns, we really go through it. Your mother and father are experimenting, okay? They want to do everything right. So they're strict with you. They're strict with everything you do. The second child comes in, wasema, niko na experience kidogo. Nilo experiment na huyu mwingine. Huyu mwingine ako sawa. I can learn from the previous mistakes. By the time they're getting to the third child, they're so relaxed about parenting and parenthood. You're just thinking, why is this child skating away so freely with all of this, things that I would have gotten punished for. So have you experienced a case where you think, somebody is being favored? This is not what I experienced.
I think in most families, unfortunately, because we know the truth, love is a weird thing, and even love between parent and child is also a very strange thing. It's something that you cannot control, that you actually like this child better. Unfortunately, these are the realities of things. So first of all, let's get rid of the guilt. It's okay to have more love for one child than it is to have love for the other child. And unfortunately, you see this a lot, especially in African homes where they have a black sheep. It's standard. You're like, me, I'm the black sheep of my family, or my brother is the black sheep of the family. And that black sheep is a statement in itself. It's like you're the least favorite, right? You're the least favorite child in this household, and therefore you become the black sheep, and therefore you are just let to have recluse lifestyles and do whatever you want to do, because no one really cares, no one is really paying attention. So yes, it happens a lot. Black sheeps are a statement of the least favorite child. And you'll always see there's always one kid who parents will put, kwanza, if you're a smart child, if you are smart in school, kazi yako ni kupata A's. The moment you show potential in class, everything is for you. Ulipata number 1, you get a gift. You get this, you get that, you get all these little extra things that other children don't get. So that in itself is also a form of favoritism. And unfortunately, by default, because you're always doing these nice things to your child, your mind also registers it as, oh yeah, that is my favorite child, you know? So it does happen a lot in African households. Yeah.
And after you acknowledge those feelings, because that's something you're supposed to do, figure out how to spend one-on-one time with each child, you know, individually, in a fair way. Because I remember there was a time my mom and my brother went out for lunch. Do you know how going out was a huge thing in my day? As in, growing up, going out was a whole thing. That is like going to Disney. They probably just went out to a joint somewhere and ate chips there, 150, but still, going out was a whole thing. And I remember my mom went out with my brother, as in they just showered and left the house, them too, and went out for lunch and left the rest of us. And I remember feeling so so angry. I'm like, why didn't you carry me? Did I do something wrong? What is happening? And because I was the firstborn, I have all these responsibilities. Niletwa nikiosha vyombo, nikiosha nyumba. Huyu anakuja na peremende akifanya hivi, nilipelekwa out.
To gifts.
And I'm like, what's this? As in, am I a stepchild?
Gosh.
You adopt me.
Gosh.
Figure out a way to spend time equally among your children so that they don't feel left out or they feel like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah, another very important one is giving consequence and reward in equal measure. And this is very important, especially considering the fact that, you know how sometimes when that one child is your favorite, they never do wrong by you, right? They'll never do anything wrong, and even when they do something wrong, it's not that big a deal. You always find a way to sort of like brush it off. People ameangusha kikombe, these things happen, don't worry.
Kwa nini uliacha brother yako angusha kikombe?
There we go.
Okay,
Wewe ukiangusha unaambiwa vunja zote, hata ujui zenye zimebaki kwa kabati, chukua angusha zote. You know, those things happen. So it's very important for you to have consequences and equal rewards for any person in that household, all the children, such that you know if you broke a cup, your punishment is this. If you didn't do the dishes and you know whatever, for whatever reason, your punishment is this. If you didn't do your bed, if you didn't, like, if there are chores and responsibilities allocated to everyone and consequences for all of them, and this is actually followed through by giving consequences, and whenever the rules are broken, then it becomes easier for you to also reduce the amount of favoritism that is seen within your children or among your children.
Yeah, and also at the same time, praise everyone equally. Praise good behavior by everyone. And this is a thing, especially in African homes, where if the firstborn or the person who has the most responsibility and is supposed to be a good role model for the younger children does something good, does something praiseworthy, it's like, but you're supposed to do that. No praise comes from that. You're not told, good job, attaboy, I am proud of you. But it's just looked at as, you're supposed to do that. That's like normal. But when your younger brother draws A, B, C, D at the age of 10, wow, genius, you should go to Harvard, all of this praise. Of course, your other child is going to feel some type of way. Why do you not praise me when I do all of these things? And you find people growing up and having daddy issues and wanting somebody to praise them, wanting somebody to validate something they've done. I've done this thing. Please tell me I'm worthy. Tell me I did a good job. Tell me this is good. Tell me you're proud of me. Your children deserve the same amount of praise. If you're going to praise your child for kicking a football, praise this other one for kicking a rugby ball. Don't have some type of favoritism where this is normal. You should be doing that. And the younger one does something, you're like, wow, genius, Picasso. Draws on the wall, muna praise, muna piga picha, muna post social media. And then your firstborn remembers the time they drew a small dot on the wall and all hell broke loose. Do not have, different reactions to the same thing done by different children.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're also trying to make sure that they grow up as friends. You've seen a lot of family members, a lot of siblings end up growing up and they don't talk, they don't relate, they don't associate in any way. In fact, the only time that they actually may end up meeting is when they're coming home to see you on Christmas. So let's not try and create more of those fallouts between siblings.
True.
Another very important one is singling out a child in both positive and negative. For example, umeshindwa na ile question ya mathematics. Your child amekwama. 1 + 1 + 3 in brackets, Bodmas imemgonga kumgonga. And the sister, on the other hand, Bodmas alikuwa ana, it's like they created and invented Bodmas system, right? So every time this child is struggling, you're like, your sister could be able to do this at the beginning of, class 3. Mbona wewe bado unakwama? Kwani wewe unafundishangwa na walimu gani? Kwani silipi school fees yako pia? And on the other side, the other child does something that is, again, as Turi has mentioned, you are always applauding them and giving them whatever. However, even in the cases where now you're kind of putting this other child down and uplifting the other. For example, you are supposed to go to church, right? And then you said, tukitoka mapema, we all get to church in good time. Afterwards, nitawapeleka mkakule chips na kuku. You remember those were the things, yani? Unakumbuka Wimpy? Mnapelekwa Wimpy after church.
No, iko na balloon. A
balloon and a crown. If we all wake up early and get to church on time, after church, I'm taking you all to Wimpy. And then suddenly, lo and behold, your brother has dragged his feet. Unaambiwa, lunchtime ikifika mmechoka church, unaambiwa, unaona, if your brother had not chelewed, tungekuwa tunaenda Wimpy. Now, these children start to hate on each other and find that they get resentful to the other because it's your fault we didn't go to Wimpy. And that starts a little bit of a hatred between children, between siblings, which is definitely not healthy. As you said, we want our children to become friends when they grow up. When they're much older, you still want them to hang out, you still want them to say, I have the best brother in the world, I have the best sister in the world, and so on and so forth. So stop singling children out either for positive or negative things. In the same way, just use blanket statements. For example, you shouldn't have been late. You should learn to wake up earlier. Not